on now, it ain't that cold.
Yes, it is.
We are out here. We are out here. Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
What's his name?
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Who'd they kill?
Amir Locke.
Who'd they kill?
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, Amelia Huffman has.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Amelia Huffman, there's blood on your hands. Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Minneapolis Police.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Mark Hanneman.
There's blood on your hands.
MPD.
There's blood on your hands.
Mike Freeman.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
MPD.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Jacob Fry.
There's blood on your hands.
Jacob Fry.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Amelia Huffman.
There's blood on your hands.
Police.
There's blood on your hands. There's blood on your hands. There's blood on your hands. There's blood on your hands.
We don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
If we don't get no justice.
We don't get no peace.
So as we stand outside of Amelia Huffman's residence, I want y'all to know, and I want y'all to take a good look at the other houses around here. Look at these houses. If we don't get no justice, they certainly won't get any peace. And you're listening, you're in a city right now that actively pulls up upon elected officials and people that are part of the Minneapolis Police Department and that are complicit in the predation of black men and our community members, gunning them down with impunity, and then leaving press conferences early saying nothing.
That's that bullshit.
That's that bullshit.
That's that bullshit.
Somebody say enough is enough.
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 And the least she can do right now is be fired or resign. She has to go. Amelia Huffman has to go.
You gotta go, bitch.
If we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
if we don't get no justice,
They don't get no peace.
Amelia Huffman has been a police officer since 1994. That's a very long time. She's seen a lot of murders. She's seen a lot of police brutality. She's seen a lot of different police chiefs. She should know better than to try to trowel out rhetoric that would blame Amir Locke for sleeping and waking up and reaching for his gun. They said that raid lasted no longer than 9 seconds. But for Amir Locke, he only had 2 waking seconds.
Listen.
2 waking seconds before he understood what was going on. And in those 2 seconds, nobody said that they were police within those 2 seconds that he was waking up. They kicked it, they came into his door, they shouted, they kicked the couch, and then they shot that man as if he was less than human. And here we are yet again. And if we gotta pull up the Lake of the Isles, then we gotta pull up the Lake of the Isles. If they want to raid apartment buildings, and they want to live in $500,000 residences or more, then we gotta pull up to the land of the rich. Then we gotta do that. Because this is unacceptable for a mayor and an interim police chief to leave a press conference early, not take questions, act like business as usual, go by the status quo, run out of lies, run out of stories to tell you, and then act as if they're going to go back to work. Enough is enough. 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 Amelia Huffman, the least she can lose right now is her job. It's not a life. Nobody here is getting hurt or anything. We're asking for her job. Because it seems like the only time they pay attention is when it affects their jobs or their money. But we pull up when it affects our lives. Amir Locke, they said he was a deep sleeper. And as I said before, had less than 2 waking seconds to understand what was going on. If you were asleep, somebody kicked the couch and said, "Motherfucker, get on the ground," with the gun pointed at you, think of how you would react. And he had the sense of mind to grab his gun in a safe manner. No finger on the trigger. Didn't pull the safety down. Within 2 seconds, he exerted more professionalism than Mark Hanneman did in his entire career. I'll say that again. That 22-year-old young black man exerted more professionalism in 2 seconds of just waking up out of deep sleep than Mark Hanneman did in his entire career. So you're all wondering what's going to happen next. And I'm wondering the same thing too. And I don't know what's going to happen. But I know what I want to happen. We need new leadership. We need change. We need something to replace what's happening right now. You would have thought that after they murdered George Floyd in cold blood, this was the impetus and the origin and center of an international movement, that something would have changed, that people would have known better. Some people have left their jobs. Many police have resigned. Bob Kroll's now a lobbyist. Arredondo's somewhere on South Beach enjoying the sun. And we're still dealing with the same old bullshit. Back here with young black men getting shot at 6:48 in the morning. Amelia Huffman, the least she can do is lose her job. And the least that this neighborhood can do is turn up out of your warm $500,000 or $2 million home, come down here and hold your murderous cat neighbor accountable. Y'all can come out here too. Y'all can come out here too. Seriously, y'all can come out here as well. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey,
Listen!
ho, ho.
Listen!
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Listen!
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
MacGyver.
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go.
Hey, hey.
Listen!
Ho, ho.
Listen!
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Say his name.
Mavis, you want to talk about what brings you out here today?
We outside Amelia Huffman's house, interim police chief. We're here for Amir Locke. He was murdered 3 miles away from where George Floyd was murdered. In a city where the world thinks so much progress and change has happened,
Please turn your flashers off so your
we've gone
cars do not
backwards.
die.
We've only gotten
Make sure you
worse.
turn the flashers
Black
off on your
people
cars
keep
so they
getting
do
killed.
not die.
In 66 days,
Say
3
his
people was
name.
murdered by police. All
Say
3
his
was black
name.
men.
Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
We're going to call up our first speaker to speak outside of Amelia Huffman's house to share a getaway of families supporting families against police violence. Give it up for Tashira, y'all.
I first want to thank all of you guys for consistently coming out here to fight with our families. The people that are traumatized really bad when something like this happens. Our families go through a range of emotions, and it reminds us of what happened to the people that we love. Dante Wright's mother right now, she's triggered. Philando Castile's mother, Kim Handy Jones, myself, Amity, the mother of Kobe Heisler, Marilyn Hill, Matilda Smith, the mother of Jeffrey Smith. Our families are very, very traumatized right now, and they're in a huge amount of pain. And one thing to remember is that there is a lot of lives that was stolen that led up to Amir, and these people refused to make the changes that was needed so that there would not be an Amir Locke. Our families were in the Capitol pleading for legislation change, meaning change the rules that allowed this stuff to happen, and they refused to do it last session. We cannot forget, guys, that when we have to mention, we need to mention Amir's name and all of the names, because we need to prove that we're in a state of emergency.
Listen!
And when we mention all the names, it shows the severeness of what's going on. Because it's a bunch of people that led up to Amir that they let die in this state, and they did not do anything about it. They would not change the legislation. They would not change the laws and the rules that allowed this to happen. And they want to minimize the problem. They don't want people to understand the state of emergency that we're in here in the state of Minnesota. Dante Wright just got murdered, and we were just out here fighting for him. And now they do this. We were in the middle of George Floyd's the Chauvin trial when Dante Wright got killed.
Listen!
Now we got the 3 other officers that helped kill Dante Wright on trial right now downtown St. Paul for the federal case in the courthouse downtown St. Paul. And while that's going on, they killed Amir. Let me tell you guys something. This has been happening. It's been happening. It's just now being publicized. It's bodies like Justin Tigan and Jeffrey Smith and Cordell Handy and Marcus Golden that nobody knows about or talks about. But we gonna hold these motherfuckers accountable for all of them. For all of them. So guess what, y'all? We gonna hold her accountable, and we going to St. Paul. St. Paul was a part of this shit because they knew that Minneapolis was incompetent, and they knew that they would carry out their dirty work on their behalf. So there's no way that we can leave them out. We going over to St. Paul. We going over to that Capitol. We going to the St. Paul police. And all these motherfuckers are going to be held accountable for this shit. Because all of them have caused this pain that our families got to go through. That Dante Wright brother got to go through. That I, as the mother of Justin Tigan's son, I have to go through and watch my son go through. There's mothers out here hurting, and all of these motherfuckers are accountable. And we gonna hold all of them accountable because St. Paul is sitting back real quiet right now because they know that the pressure is on the Minneapolis police. Well, guess what? We coming.
Yeah.
We coming. We coming. For every last one of them. Them legislators in that Capitol. We in the middle of a legislation session right now, y'all, where they're passing bills. We gotta make them pass police accountability bills, because I'm telling you, this is beautiful where we can come out here and shout, but until the rules change, the laws change, ain't shit gonna change. It's gonna keep happening. You wanna know why? Because the same system is still in place that allowed this to happen to Amir. The same system is still, just because you get 2 officers off the street, Derek Chauvin and the bitch Kim Potter, just because you get them 2 off the street, you ain't do nothing for the rest of the hundreds of officers that are still out here.
Right.
So, what do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
For who?
Amir Locke!
For who?
Amir Locke!
For who?
Amir Locke!
Say his name!
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 Amir Locke!
Thank you. Thank you for being out here and continuing.
Next up, Kelly from Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar. Give it up for Kelly, everybody.
My name is Kelly. I'm with Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar. I know it's cold. I will try to be brief. Amir Locke's death was preventable. George Floyd, Dalal Eid, Dante Wright, Winston Smith, Linnell Frazier, and now Amir Locke. And these are only some of the most recent names, some of the most recent lives that have been taken. All of these deaths were preventable. But they keep happening because there's never meaningful policy change. There is never proactive change, and any changes that do happen are signed with the blood of black and brown bodies. How many more of us are they going to murder in our sleep? How many more setups? How many more executions? So many of us live with the narrative of if you do everything right, you might be okay. We tell the young black men in our lives that we love to not be out too late, to keep good company, no sudden movements, stay in school, be respectful, keep your hands in sight. The list is endless. But the problem has always been with the system and the white supremacy and the white violence that it upholds and enforces. There's nothing I can tell the youth in my life to prepare them to not be murdered in their sleep. If the system refuses to protect us, then we need to change the system ourselves. We need community control of the police. We need for our communities to be able to determine how they are policed. We need to be able to hold police accountable for their choices. We need for the people most affected by police brutality to drive the solution. CPAC is how we fight back and how we protect ourselves, our communities, and our loved ones. Until then, we are demanding that Mark Huffman be fired and prosecuted. We are demanding a resignation from Jacob Frey. We are demanding a resignation from Amelia Huffman. Jacob Frey, Amelia Huffman, Peter Cahill, Mark Hanneman. There's blood on all of your hands! Say his name!
Amir Locke!
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 Give it up for Kelly, y'all.
Go Kelly!
St. Paul wanted to commission a warrant to go into the Bolero Flats, and they said they didn't want a no-knock. but MPD insisted on a no-knock, so then the St. Paul Police Department was forced to make a no-knock. Judge Cahill signed off on the no-knock warrant to enter the Bolero Flats. Judge Cahill also signed off on the warrant to invade Dalal Eid's family's house and have them zip-tied and have the property destroyed. You understand how everything goes hand in hand in hand. Then Jacob Fry runs for re-election, and what are one of the neighborhoods that stood for him most? A neighborhood like this one. So a neighborhood like this one should justly get desserts because they voted for a man that had the same status quo and business as usual, trial out, and now it's pulling up to their neighborhood. What they wanted is what they got. They got more of the same, so we pull up to more of the failure to lead. We pull up to more of the failed elected officials, more of the failed police members. They voted for it. They got it. We're here.
Let's go.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
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 And just days after George Floyd was murdered, 2 officers that rolled around in an unmarked cargo van shooting at protesters were in Bolero Flats. So you get more of the same dirty cops, more of the same product, more of the same police brutality that you voted in last time. So again, it is only right that they get what they voted for. They get the same product, they get the same BS, and they get us pulling up to their doorstep. Give it up, y'all, for Brandon Tullett coming up next to speak.
Let's go, Brandon!
So I'm going to say it loud, say it clear, then y'all say, we want justice for Amir. Say it loud, say it clear.
We want justice for Amir.
Say it loud, say it clear.
We want justice for Amir.
Say it loud, say it clear.
We want justice for Amir.
Say it loud, say it clear.
We want justice for Amir.
Scream it loud, scream it clear.
We want justice for Amir.
Scream it loud, scream it clear.
We want justice for Amir.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Scream his name.
Amir Locke.
Scream his name.
Amir Locke.
Scream his name.
Amir Locke.
I just want to make sure that everybody in this neighborhood knows exactly why the fuck we are here. You have to hear his name. You have to know who lives in this building, in this house. You have to know who lives in this house, in this neighborhood. What I want to say today is, being a black man, being a black person in America, we never experience comfort. All we have is discomfort. All we are is uncomfortable. And it's clear time and time and time and time again that when we are killed, that when we have systems that are oppressing us, that when we are at the bottom of the barrel, all the white people at the top are still comfortable. They are still comfortable. I have never experienced comfort. Meanwhile, they have always been comfortable. When it comes to the Second Amendment, that makes white people feel comfortable. Right? They can have their gun just in case anybody breaks in their house before the break of dawn, comes and intrudes on them, wakes them up from their sleep. That's why they have the Second Amendment, to protect themselves in that scenario. But here we have a young black man who did exactly what he was trained to do, who used his weapon the way that it was supposed to be used for his protection, not to endanger anybody recklessly, which is what we see with his training, with his trigger finger not on the trigger. We see him being kicked out of a bed. First of all, they keep saying 9 seconds. They keep saying 9 seconds. How many of those seconds was Amir Locke awake? 2. 2 at most. 2 at most. They said that they announced themselves before they went in. A lie. They say that they have protocols for only one person talking. There was 3 different voices at least, all screaming different things. A lie. They can't sit here and try to justify this anymore. They can't sit here and try to justify this anymore in 2 seconds. Forget that whole 9-second narrative. In 2 seconds, they decided that Amir Locke deserved death.
What kind of gun did he have? What kind of gun did he have?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He was a registered gun owner. He was a registered gun owner.
What type of tomfoolery question is
He
that?
was a registered gun owner. He was a registered gun owner. He had a Second Amendment right to own a gun in this country.
Those bullets are legal.
So what? To exemplify, this white woman is comfortable.
Yeah.
This white woman is comfortable. Why are you uncomfortable?
Don't pull on her. Don't pull
That's her dog. That was her dog called her.
That takes me to my next point. All I have experienced is discomfort. All I have experienced in my life is discomfort. Listen to me. All I have experienced in my life is discomfort. You said you're uncomfortable now. Why? Because we brought that to you. Why? Because we demand equality. We demand equity. The people at the top, they don't give it to us. So the only way that we can be comfortable, the only way that we can get equity is to share our discomfort. So when we pull up on you and make you uncomfortable, that's how I have felt my whole life. That's how black people have felt their whole life.
Listen!
The only way that they will feel and share this discomfort, the only way that we will feel, that they will feel and share this discomfort.
Get the fuck out, ho!
Can they get a glimpse of the world? What I want to say,
You guys are come on, shut the ones that drive black.
Say his name. 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 What's his name? Scream his name. Scream his name. So all I want to say is exactly this. Black people in this country have been uncomfortable their whole lives. The only way that we can get equality, they've proven it time and time again. They've proven it time and time again. They don't care about giving us equality, equity. The only way we can get that is by sharing our discomfort with them. And that comes with us pulling up. That comes with our fire. Whether figuratively, literally, we need to pull up and let them feel it. Let them feel it. Say his name. Say his name. Scream his name. Scream his name.
My chat. My chat. My chat. My chat. My chat. For everyone who came with the car caravan tonight, y'all need to come over here. Because we're not here to give attention to these white ass neighbors with their white fragile opinions. What we came to do is to center black and brown voices. So everyone with the car caravan, get their ass back over here. Because why are we here? Say his name. 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 Okay, sing this with me, okay? We ready. We ready for justice and change. We ready. We ready for justice and change. We ready. We ready for justice and change. We ready. Say what? Say what? We ready. Come on. For justice and change. We ready. We ready for justice and change. Say his name. Amir Locke. 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 If Amir don't get it, shut it down. If Amir don't get it, shut it down. If Amir don't get it, shut it down. If Amir don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Brianna don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Amir don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Brianna don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Amir don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Brianna don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Amir don't get it.
Shut it down.
If Brianna don't get it.
Shut it down.
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 If we don't get it.
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 Shut it down.
Okay, sing this along with me, okay? Some justice is what we need. So fuck these bitch ass cops. So fuck these bitch ass cops. I said some justice
Is what we need. So fuck these bitch ass cops.
So fuck these bitch ass cops. I said some justice is what we need. So fuck these bitch ass cops. So fuck these bitch ass cops. I said some justice is what we need.
So fuck these bitch ass cops. So fuck these bitch ass cops.
I said some
Justice is what we need.
So fuck
These bitch ass cops. So fuck these bitch ass cops.
hey, hey, ho, ho, a million,
It's got to go.
hey, hey, ho, ho,
Amir Locke has got to go.
hey, hey, ho, ho,
Amir Locke has got to go.
hey, hey, ho, ho,
Amir Locke has got to go.
hey, hey, ho, ho,
Amelia Huffman, that's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Give me a B.
B, I got your B, I got your B.
Give me an L.
L, I got your L, I got your L.
Give me an M.
M, I got your M, I got your M.
What's that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
What's that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
Give me a B.
B, I got your B, I got your B.
Give me an L.
L, I got your L, I got your L.
Give me an M.
M, I got your M, I got your M.
What's that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
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 We here. We lit. We
Taking over this shit.
okay. We here. We
lit. We taking over this shit.
all right. We here. We
lit. We taking over this shit.
all right. We
Here.
we
lit. We taking over this shit.
all right. We
lit. We taking over this shit.
all right. We
Here. Lit. We taking over this shit.
say his name.
Amir Locke.
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 What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
You want it next month?
No.
Next week?
No.
At the next press conference?
No.
At the next election?
No.
What do you want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
For who?
Amir Locke.
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 For who? We're going to do a few more chants, but if anybody from Racial Justice Network wants to take the mic and speak, you're more than welcome. Or if anybody from any other organizations wants to speak, you're more than welcome to come up. Say his name!
Amir Locke.
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 Justice for!
Amir Locke.
Say it louder!
Amir Locke.
Say it prouder!
Amir Locke.
What's his name?
Amir Locke.
Say his name!
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 Amir Locke.
If Amir don't get it,
Shut it down.
if Amir don't get it,
Shut it down.
if Amir don't get it,
Shut it down.
say matter here.
Native lives, they matter here.
Trans lives, they matter here.
Trans lives, they matter here.
Black 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 lives, they matter here.
Native lives, they matter here.
Native lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey,
Ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go.
hey, hey.
Ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Amelia Huffman has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
Amelia Huffman has got to go.
All right, we're going to take down the speaker. We're going to do a few more chants after, but I know people are cold as hell right now. But again, give it up for yourselves for coming out to pull up to Amelia Huffman's house. Seriously. This is the exact neighborhood that voted for Jacob Fry and the same old leadership that we had in the past that resulted in the murder of George Floyd, Dalal Eid, Winston Smith, Dante Wright, and many more, and now Amir Locke. And we're back out here again. So what I would ask is personally is if y'all want to just vibe with each other, like talk to your neighbors, get to know each other like right now. Like this is literally community that you ride with right now. This is like the future. This is the future of this city. So if anybody wants to start any more chants or speak on this mic, you're more than welcome to. But as I said again, if we don't get no justice, they don't get no sleep.
Yeah, what?
If we don't get no justice, they don't get no sleep. Seriously. Because Amir did not get black people should be able to sleep in their own homes. Black people should be able to sleep. Black kids should be able to get educated. Black people should be able to feel safe. Black people should be able to dream. Black people should be able to breathe. Black people should be able to live. And Amir couldn't even sleep. And he showed more dignity and professionalism in less than 2 seconds than Mark Hanneman did.
Black
And you
people
got a
should be
whole...
able to sleep.
Absolutely. I agree. I concur with that. But also, what we're out here to say is that this has to go. Leaving press conferences early, not answering questions,
Where are they?
and then trying to trial out the same rhetoric that the police union was by saying, well, Mark Hanneman had to make a split-second decision. That's a little something that we call deflect and reverse victim order.
That's it, bullshit.
It's like, so the cops kill us, and then they say, well, you know what, we got a hard job. This don't look too tough right here. Living on Lake of the Isles, living good. And you running a band of thugs out here that are pulling triggers on black people in their sleep? No. It's unacceptable, and it has to stop. And it's only going to stop by everybody like all of y'all continuing to pull up and hold people accountable. Without you, this doesn't change. Without your voice, this doesn't change. Without you placing your body physically in front of the powers that be, this doesn't change. They don't seem to do anything until we hold them accountable. They don't seem to do anything until the world is watching. They don't seem to do anything until it's live streamed or put on film or photographed. So that tells you they've been doing this a long time in darkness, and they've been very, very comfortable with it. And then for a white woman to step up and say, what kind of gun did he have? The only question I have for that woman is, what kind of gun did Mark Hanneman have? Why are we talking about him? Why aren't we talking about the group of thugs that pulled up on Bolero Flats? Why don't you ask that question? Why not? Why does it always have to be black people defending ourselves, our character, our bodies, ourselves while we sleep, ourselves while we dream, ourselves while we're getting educated? We have to defend ourselves at every inch of the way in the journey. Yet a white man can pull up, shoot a black kid, and no questions get asked to him. And then go back home. Mark Hanneman still has a job. Amelia Huffman still has a job. And what we're asking for is that Amelia has to go. So right out on this. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Amelia Huffman has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho,
I want to get one last chant in. I want to get one last chant in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when we pull up, we have to let people know that we pulled up, and we're going to keep doing it again and again and again and again and again and again until you feel the pressure to do something. Until you feel the pressure to do something, okay? So just, y'all should get it, all right? So just, yeah. Who's on your block?
We on your block.
Who's on your block?
We on your block.
Who ain't gonna stop?
We ain't gonna stop.
Who ain't gonna stop?
We ain't gonna stop.
Who's on your block?
We on your block.
Who's on your block?
We on your block.
Who ain't gonna stop?
We ain't gonna stop.
Who ain't gonna stop?
We ain't gonna stop.
Who will pull up?
We will pull up.
Who will pull up?
We will pull up.
Who did pull up?
We did pull up.
Who did pull up?
We did pull up.
Who will pull up?
We will pull up.
Who will pull up?
We will pull up.
Who did pull up?
We did pull up.
Who did pull up?
We did pull up.
Who shut this down?
We shut this down.
Who shut this down?
We shut this down.
Who's in your town?
We in your town.
Who's in your town?
We in your town.
Who shut this down?
We shut this down.
Who shut this down?
We shut this down.
Who's in your town?
We in your town.
Who's in your town?
We in your town.
Who's on your block?
We on your block.
Who's on your block?
We on your block.
Who ain't gonna stop?
We ain't gonna stop.
Who ain't gonna stop?
We ain't gonna stop.
Who will pull up?
We will pull up.
Who will pull up?
We will pull up.
Who did pull up?
We did pull up.
Who did pull up?
We did pull up.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Say his name.
Amir Locke.
Scream his name.
Amir Locke.
Scream his name.
Amir Locke.
Scream his name.
Amir Locke.
If Amir don't get it,
Shut it down.
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 if Amir don't get it,
Shut it
if
down.
Amir don't get it,
Shut it
if
down.
Amir don't get it.
Shut it down.
Hey, can we do that side of the corner?
I mean, I think that's the plan.
We can do it. DJ. 2 weeks, bitch. Go ahead.
ACAB.
All comes the master.
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 GTFO. Get the
fuck out.
GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
ACAB.
All comes the master.
ACAB.
All comes the master.
GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
GTFO.
Get the fuck
I
out.
said 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 GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
Say I don't know what y'all been told.
I don't know what y'all been told.
Amelia Huffman got to go.
Amelia Huffman got to go.
I don't know what y'all been told.
I don't know what y'all been told.
Amelia Huffman got to go.
Amelia Huffman got to go.
Say 512.
512.
Say 512.
512.
Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
512.
I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
512.
I said 9, 10, 11.
512.
I said 9, 10, 11.
512.
I said 9, 10, 11. 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 I appreciate each and every one of you for coming up, pulling up with us tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause. Don't forget why we're out here. We're here for Amir Locke. We're here demanding that Amelia Huffman is gone, Mayor Fry is gone, Mark Hanneman is gone. Everybody that's responsible for these murders that keep happening, out of here. Y'all gotta go. That includes the systems in place. That includes everything. All of that, gone. Got to, otherwise who's next? What other black body we gonna lose next? So keep that in mind when you're out here. Keep that in mind when you're fighting. Keep that in mind when you're doing what you need to do. Yep. Lastly, we're going to end with the Assata Shakur chant. Yep. We're going to have Maya come up and lead it.
All right. I need fists up as high as you can. As high as you can, everybody's fists. All right. We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Now close your eyes and feel that shit in your fucking soul. We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win. We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 All power to the people.
All power to the people.
Well, it's freezing outside, and looks like Amir Locke.
If you guys are just joining, I am live outside of Amelia Huffman's house. She's the interim chief of police. She held a press conference shortly after Amir Locke was fatally shot by the Minneapolis police officers who stormed into Bolera Flats on Wednesday, February 2nd. And during this press conference, Amelia Huffman avoided some very critical questions from the community, mainly asking why was Amir Locke named as a suspect when it has been said that he was not listed on that warrant. The other question that was posed is why did the Minneapolis Police Department release photographs of Amir Locke's gun if he was a licensed gun owner? That was very misleading for the public. It was regurgitated by the mainstream media as though it was facts. And so now community is showing up today demanding that the interim chief of police resign from her position. We do know that there are a series of other actions that are planned over the next week or so, so we're going to continue following this story. Also continuing to request information from the Minneapolis Police Department, trying to get our hands on the warrants so we can understand more about that process as well. However, that has not been made public yet. But in the interim, continuing to follow the way that community is showing up. Feel free to head over to georgiafort.com if you want to support independent journalism. There you can become a monthly supporter or make a one-time contribution. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are live from Minneapolis. I love you guys too.